Why do I always feel unqualified to go to the next level? This is a question that I hear a lot. A lot of times people know that they have a dream, they know what they want, but they just don't feel worthy to get there. They feel like they don't deserve it. And why is it that we feel like we don't deserve it? Why is it that we have this dream of what we want to do, and I think most people have a dream. I think if I asked you, you know what you want. And most people, they just want to do something that creates meaning, that they feel like they're making a difference, that has some type of purpose in their life. I also think people just want to be loved. I think people want to feel like they are loved, and I think they want to love other people. They want to have connections in their life. And the last thing, I think people just want to have fulfillment, feeling like they are doing something that is important, that makes them happy, and that they're excited to do. And I think if you can do those three things right there, you can just have a purpose in your life that you feel like you're making a difference. You can build a community of people around you that you love and that love you. And you can have fulfillment in your day, do things that excite you. I think you'll have a great life. So, why is it that we often have this imposter syndrome when we're going to chase these goals? We set a goal of how much money we want to make. We set a goal of starting a new business. We set a goal of creating this relationship or building this community around us, but we feel like an imposter as we're doing it. And why is that? Why do we do things that self sabotage us on our way to this goal? Because you have a goal and you don't think you're worthy is the reason that you're stopping yourself from getting there. The friction is that you don't think you deserve it. And why don't you think you deserve it? Now, this is a question that's deep, and this is a question, if you can unbury this and figure out what it is that's stopping you, you can really have so much more success and so much more fulfillment in your life. Because the only thing that is stopping you right now is you. You're the only person in your way. You're the only obstacle in your way is you. If it's a relationship, it's the way that you're showing up for that relationship. If it's a job that you want or you want to make more money, it's your idea or your beliefs about money that is stopping you, or your worthiness or feeling like you're leaving other people behind that are stopping you. It's not the other people. It's not the boss. It's not your friends. It's you. If it's to have more happiness and more enjoyment and more joy in your life, you're the only one that's in your way. You're the one that's causing stress. You're the one that's creating the expectations in your life that you have to live up to. You're the one putting all the pressure on you. It's not anybody else. It's you. It's the story that you're telling yourself. If you want to be more fit and have a better body, you're the one eating the food. You're the one skipping the gym. You're the one doing the things that are making you unhealthy. So it always comes back to you. And you have these great goals of getting in shape and losing the weight. You have this great goal of making more money or starting a new business. You have this great goal of building a life and having these relationships in this community around you. But even though you have these intentions and you have this idea, you keep on getting in your own way. You keep on stopping yourself from getting there. And why is that? Why do you keep on doing that? It's because you don't think you deserve it. And if you don't think you deserve it, guess what? You're going to keep on doing things that keep you from getting to that goal until you truly believe that you're worthy. Until you truly believe that you deserve it, you're not going to get to what you want. You're not going to have the life that you want. And this is something that I struggled with for so long, wanting things but sabotaging, wanting things but going out and drinking when I'm on a roll, wanting something and sabotaging a relationship that I got in because I didn't think I was worthy. At the time, I didn't know why I couldn't keep a long-term relationship, but it was because I didn't think I was worthy of that relationship. Whenever I started to make more money, I would do something to stop the flow of money because I didn't think I was worthy of making that much money. Whenever good things started to happen, I would get in my own way. And I'm not the only one that has done this. I'm sure you've done it. I'm sure you've had gratitude or bliss or happiness and you've done things to self-sabotage. And the worst thing about it is, if you fix it, you find out what that thing is that you're sabotaging with, it doesn't mean that's always going to be your form of sabotage, because mine have changed over the years. Mine used to be going out and drinking and doing things to get me into a lower state through drinking. But guess what it is now? I've been catching myself the last few weeks on my new way of sabotaging. I'll be on a roll. I'll be doing really good. I'll have 4 or 5 amazing days in a row where I feel unstoppable, where I feel like I'm just conquering the world. I feel so good. And then I'll do something to sabotage. That new thing for me is eating something that I know I shouldn't be eating that makes me feel like crap. So recently, this has been ice cream. I'll eat ice cream and I know my stomach can't handle ice cream. The next day, I'll be feeling like crap. I'll be off my routine. I won't be feeling how I did, but that's a way of sabotaging. Now, why am I doing this? Because there's got to be a reason, right? And it's deep down, maybe I feel a little guilty about making more money. Maybe I feel like I'm leaving somebody behind. So first you have to identify what your goals are. After you have your goals, what are the things that stop me? What are the activities? Who are the people? What are the things that I do on a consistent basis that lowers my energy, that lowers my frequency, that pulls me back? Because when you're rolling, you know what that feeling is like. And you've probably been in streaks where you have a couple really good days where you feel great, where you feel like you're doing amazing, or maybe you even have a month of just crushing it. You're starting to hit your fitness goals, you're starting to look good, and then you go back to your old eating style. You go back to the old way of operating. You think you made it, and then you stop doing it. Or maybe you were in a really bad mental space. You started working with a coach, or you started journaling, or you started meditating, and then after a month of feeling great, you stopped doing what got you there. What is that? That's a subtle way of starting to sabotage. You implement these new things and you're crushing it with it. You're feeling good, and then you stop doing what got you there. Now, why the heck would you do that? Why would you stop doing what got you there? The reason you stop is because your identity is somebody that lives in struggle. Your emotional home is living in stress or anxiety or fear or doubt. And if you don't change your identity and you don't change your beliefs, you'll never be able to enjoy and have the lasting results of feeling good, of having the body, of having the good relationship, because they all stem from your belief system and they all stem from your identity. And if your identity is, I'm somebody that's always stressed, you're going to find a way to get stressed. If your identity is, I'm somebody that is always overweight, you're going to find a way to get overweight again, even if you do lose the weight. If you're living in gratitude and peace and you're starting to have a lot of peace in your life, but your identity is, I'm somebody that's stressed and I'm an overachiever that works really hard, you're always going to end up getting back to that stress because that's your emotional home. That's where you're comfortable. And the funny thing is about your body and your mind, it'd rather be in a familiar feeling than one that's actually good for you. So if you're used to fear and doubt and anxiety, your body will go back to the fear, the doubt, and the anxiety, even if you're feeling great, because it's used to that. And you rather live in the familiar thought instead of the new emotion that actually feels good, just because you're familiar with that emotional home. So your emotional home is that home that you feel comfortable in. Those feelings and those thoughts and those emotions that you feel really comfortable in. And if you want to make a change and you want to have these results and you want to go to the next level and you want to feel worthy, you have to start shifting that belief system. You have to start shifting that identity. And how do you do that? How do you shift a belief system? How do you shift an identity? First, you have to recognize, what are the beliefs that I currently have? What are the things that I'm currently saying? One of the best ways to figure this out, start journaling your thoughts. Start to take inventory of your thoughts. What am I saying to other people? Ask people in your life, what do I say to you often? How do I describe myself? If you had to describe yourself to me right now, what would you say? That is the best indicator to see your identity. You're probably going to label yourself as the type of person that does X, Y, and Z. I am this person, I have this job. And a lot of times we label ourselves with the job that we have. We label ourselves with the habits and the routines that we have. And this is why, if you want to change your identity, you start with the habits. Start with your routines. What are the routines that I currently have? What am I doing on a consistent basis? Because those set of routines, so if you're going out and drinking all the time, or you're overeating, or you're eating out all the time, or you're sleeping in really late, those are things that you do that form your identity. So if you're sleeping in really late, I'm not a morning person. If you don't eat healthy and you go out to eat all the time, I'm not really a health nut. That's an identity. Proving yourself through work is part of your identity. I'm always stressed. I'm an overachiever. I need to do more. I'm not doing enough. And that is part of your identity, that you're a worker and you're always stressed out. So if you want to change these things, start with your habits. Because if you change your habits, you'll change your identity. If you change your routines in the morning and the afternoon, you're going to change your identity. So for example, if you're not a morning person and you want to start becoming a morning person, start setting your alarm earlier. Yes, at first it's going to suck, but eventually you're going to turn into the type of person that gets up early. Then you start telling yourself, I am a morning person. And if you tell yourself that enough times, you'll become a morning person and your identity will shift. This happened in my own life. I used to have the alarm go off when I had a job that I didn't like, and the alarm would go off, and every single day I would say, I'm not a morning person. I would tell anybody that listened, I hate the morning. I'm not in a good mood. Don't talk to me until after a certain amount of time, until after I had my coffee. So I had a perfect frame to tell myself that I wasn't a morning person. I had the story that was attached to it, and I had the actions that followed. So I wanted to change that. So I started setting a bedtime alarm. I started setting a morning alarm, and then I started waking up earlier, and then I started telling myself that I'm a morning person, and people that wake up early just have better days. And I kept telling myself that. And eventually I said it so many times, now I wake up in the morning without an alarm, and I wake up at 5:30 without an alarm. I wake up excited, happy, in a good mood, and that is a complete 180 from the person that I used to be. Not wanting to wake up, not wanting to talk to anybody, not being a morning person. A morning person wakes up without an alarm at 5:30 and is excited to get out of bed. How does that happen? How does somebody do that? It's because I changed the story, I changed my routine, and I changed how I talked about myself. So if you want to change anything in your life, if you want to change your identity, if you want to be worthy of more, if you want to achieve more, if you want to take the next level, first start with your habits. Find somebody that is doing what you want to do. Ask them, what are the habits and routines that you do on a consistent basis? How do you talk? How do you label yourself? What do you say about yourself? How would you describe yourself? Okay, take all that information and now start to implement that into your life. If they wake up early and they say, I'm a morning person, start saying that and start waking up early. If they do a 10-minute meditation in the middle of the day and they give people compliments, start doing that. Start doing what this person is doing that has the results that you want. And if you can start to change your routines, you can start to change the way that you talk about yourself, you can change the way that you label yourself, then you have an identity shift. Right now, I don't drink at all. And the only reason I'm able to get to this point right now, it took me, 15, 16 years to get to this point. And I always said, I want to stop drinking. And then what I would do was when somebody asked me if I wanted to drink, I'd say, no, I can't drink. I'm not drinking. Instead of saying, no, I'm not a drinker. You see the difference there? When I say, no, I can't drink, I'm giving all the power to the alcohol. I'm giving all the power away from me to someone or something else, right? So every time I did that, I felt powerless. And I always would go back to drinking because my identity never shifted. I still thought of myself as a drinker, but I was just somebody that couldn't drink because I didn't want to, right? Right now, if somebody asked me, if you were to ask me, Kevin, do you want to drink? I would say, no, I don't drink. You see the difference there? I can't drink or I don't drink. When I say I don't drink, it's who I am. It's my personality. It's my identity. I don't drink. It's somebody that I've become. It doesn't take any mental effort. It doesn't take any resistance. It's just who I am. Same thing with the morning person. I'm a morning person. It doesn't take me any strength to get out of bed. I wake up naturally because that's who I am. But if I was going around telling the whole town that I wasn't a morning person, I'm not happy in the mornings, and I hate the mornings, it would be so hard to get out of bed and be productive. But that's a shift in my identity. So if you feel like you're unworthy of going to the next level, you feel like you're not worthy of being the coach, you feel like you're not worthy of starting the business, you feel like you're not worthy of asking the girl out, start changing the narrative. Start changing what you're saying to yourself. Start saying, I am the type of person that does it. So this year, if you want to get in the best shape of your life, start telling people and start telling yourself, I'm an athlete and athletes train. I'm an athlete and athletes train. Start telling yourself that every single day. I'm an athlete and athletes train. Instead of saying, I don't like the gym. Because every time you go to the gym and you say you hate going to the gym, it's your identity that you're not a gym person. So even if you do get in shape for 3 months with a coach or a trainer, you're going to go back to your old ways because your identity is still set that I am not a gym person and I hate the gym. So change it. I'm an athlete and I train. I'm an athlete and I train. Somebody asks you, do you go to the gym? Yeah, I'm an athlete. I train every day. Start saying that and you'll become that type of person. Your identity will shift. So if you feel like you're not worthy, it's because you've been telling yourself a story for so long. It's because you've been telling yourself this thing that has become who you are. You have to change your emotional home. If you want to change your emotional home, you start with different habits, different routines. Secondly, start telling yourself a different story. Start telling other people a different story. Yes, it might feel like a lie at first, but just start saying it. I'm a motivator. I'm a speaker. I'm not a drinker. I'm a fitness person. I love to exercise. I eat healthy. I don't drink sodas. Whatever it is that you want to change in your life, start saying it. Start speaking it into existence. Because if you start identifying as that type of person, you don't say, no, I can't drink the soda. You say, I don't drink soda. Big difference, right? Somebody that doesn't drink soda wouldn't even think about opening a soda. Somebody that can't drink soda is going to be like, man, I want that soda, but I can't right now. And it's going to be a struggle. And you're probably going to break open that soda. And once you change your identity, you're going to become more worthy of everything else in your life. If you don't have what you want right now, the only thing that's stopping you is your beliefs, your identity, and the feelings and the emotions that you're holding on to. If you can let go of the doubt, let go of the fear, let go of the anxiety, and you can start living in a relaxed body, you can start getting whatever you want. You can start building the life that you want. You don't have to feel like that you can't do it because you're not that type of person. Once you start changing who you are that type of person. And the cool thing about this is you start to stack these things on top of each other. So I started with a morning person, right? Then I started saying I don't watch TV. Don't even think about watching TV, wouldn't watch TV. Then I started saying I don't drink. So I'm changing my identity as I go, and I'm becoming this person that I want to be. Then I feel more worthy of the things that I have in my life. So now when I want to start a new business or I want to ask the girl out, I'm confident because I've changed my identity before. I've showed myself evidence that I do what I say I'm going to do. I show up and I do my habits and my routines every day. So I do feel worthy for the promotion. I do feel worthy for whatever I want, for the new clients, for the body, for whatever it is that you want. Once you give yourself enough evidence, you believe that you're worthy. And the greatest thing that you can do right now to take yourself to the next level, to get yourself out of the cycle of feeling like you're not enough, is to find 3 things that you're scared of right now and just go do them. And not attaching the result to whatever happens. Just go face them. And you'll find out it's not as bad as you thought. Because you're probably building up this fear in your head of whatever's going to happen is going to be terrible. Your life's going to end and no one's going to like you. No one's going to talk to you. You're not going to have any more friends and your life's going to fall apart. It's not going to happen. So find 3 things right now that you're terrified to do and go do them one at a time. Just go do them. Things that you would never typically do, that you've always thought about doing, just go do it, right? And if you can start to do that on a consistent basis, and you stop telling yourself that you're not confident and that you're not worthy and that you don't have enough experience, and you start telling yourself that I do because you've done enough habits and routines and you've shifted your beliefs and your identity, you can have whatever you want. So right now, the only reason you don't have what you want or you feel like you're not worthy is because you've been telling yourself this for so many years. So today is an exciting day. You have the ability to change your story. You have the ability to change your identity. You have the ability to change your emotional home from stress, fear, doubt, guilt, and shame and make it whatever you want. Gratitude, peace, love, joy, excitement, playfulness, whatever you want. But it all starts with you looking at yourself in the mirror, figuring out what you want, what are my goals, how am I going to get there, what are the habits and the routines, who can I talk to that's already done this, and let me learn from them. Let me start doing what they're doing. Let me start telling myself a different story. Let me start with something small like becoming a morning person. Let me start with something small and start to build on top of that. You can do it. Your life can be whatever you want to be. Remember, greatness is already inside you. Now let's just bring it out.